Hi, everyone, and welcome to Chair Yoga. We're going to begin today with just this in mind as we begin, by kind of setting our intention, our overall theme for this practice today. You might remember a while back we were focusing on moving a state to a trait, a state of being, a state of awareness, a state that we experience like a momentary state of feeling happy or content to an actual trait where that's just becomes a way of being for us. And so bring that to mind, that there's this possibility of transforming states into traits. And we do that with embodiment practices. That's a really effective way to kind of hone in on developing that kind of an attitude about um, awareness. Really, it's about this awareness of your state of being and trying to bring that into the body so it can become an actual trait for yourself. So let's begin standing up just to get some energy moving, create some warmth in the body, and we'll go from there. I'm going to suggest you get a hold of your block. Just get a hold of your block. We'll use it in a minute. Take a moment now with a wider stance, just a little bit wider stance. Stand up real tall and just close your eyes and soften your knees a little bit. No lock in the knees, and just breathe in and breathe out till the point you start to feel it as a full body experience. You start with the awareness. It's certainly going to be in your chest, in your nose, into the respiratory system as we know it. And that's a great obvious place to start. And we're just transitioning, but you're standing up on your strong legs. And for those of you who always need the support of the chair, which is why we're here, the support of the chair is vital for a lot of people. Stand behind your chair so you can put your hands there. Remember, just a little soft bend of the knee. Don't lock your knee. And start to develop this awareness of your body in this upright position. I'm actually personally changing my mind about the wider stance. So I'm going to start stepping closer together. I think I would feel this differently and for me better if I brought myself more into the mountain stance where my legs were now just lined up with the width of my hip joints, hip sockets. Now I wanted to just sort of we've explored some ways that yoga improves our life, like basic intentions that we've learned from various teachers. And the one recently that I brought to mind and we focused on was from the book A Morning Cup of Yoga. And those are just three things. So as we just breathe our way into and transition our way into stronger legs, think about posture. So one of those that Jane, the author of that book, brought to mind was that yoga improves your posture. And we can rely on that. We can rely on the fact that yoga is a gateway to better posture. And with our breath awareness and feeling our way into the body with that breath, that's bringing mind and body together. That was another one of her points. You can count on that. Yoga will bring your mind and body together. And then the last thing she talked about was energy, the flow of energy. And it was in two ways, or I understood it in two ways, that it would be a way to unblock, clear your energy flow. So if there's any blockages in your body from holding tension, from carrying fear, from all the ways that our mind lodges itself in our body and restricts the flow of energy, so we could unblock the energy. But the other way that I believe we could refer to this is about creating vitality. So we're going to, encourage more of an energetic experience in our body. Beautiful, great transition. So let's open the eyes. Now I'm going to take that wider stance. And how we can sometimes just use the block to kind of get your arms moving. It gets you, this is a mind-body connection. So take your block, or if you're using something else, whatever you might be accessing, just bring your block around and let your body sway from side to side. So you're moving your body weight into one leg and then the other, just to sway from side to side. How you're moving this block in terms of how high up it might be in your body, that's your choice. So you could be way up so that you're really getting into the shoulders and feeling the movement and loosening up that your shoulders might need. Or you might take it easy and think, this works better for me, not with these fussy shoulders, not today. So I'm going to stay low. But shifting your body weight, and take that notice, pressing one foot into the ground, and you can feel that shift. And start to notice how your breath is keeping up with this. Now make a switch so it just feels like you're changing your hand off. You change the direction of your hand off. And you get to choose about how high up your arms are. You could be doing it quite different from what I'm doing. You just take your lead here. Let your body, kind of inform you what would work best. Shifting your body weight. Good. Let's bring that block out front. I'm going to just put it face out like that with the width of the block, and then get up on one heel. Let the heel pop up. You're up on the toes on one side, and let your arms lift up. So pop the heel up, straighten out that leg, lift up, lift up, lift up. Chest, chest, chest. Lift up from the chest, and that will carry your head up. Don't make your head carry your chest. Let your chest lift up, and I'm talking about the rib cage, and then that will carry your head up. Deepen the breath. Look how long you are now. It's like from where the block is, reaching toward the ceiling, all the way down to the soles of your feet. You just feel that length and expansion of your body. And then we'll switch sides. So just gently bring yourself around, switch sides. The other heel's popping up. So you're on the toes or on the ball of the foot. Lift that block up. Keep your arms as close to your ears as you can. And then find the fullness of your breath. It'd be real easy to breathe into your chest right here. So drop that breath deeper into the body. Lift up, look up. If your neck is okay to look up. The chest has let your head come up. It's not the other way around. You lift your chest so that you can lift your head. Beautiful. And then let's come back down, and that's all for now. We'll come back to standing in a little bit. Let's have a seat. Bring your block in between your knees. Come forward on the chair so you're not reliant on the backrest, but that you feel you've got plenty of support for your pelvis. So you're right in that sweet spot. Let's begin here with palms up. Make sure your head feels level so your jawline is parallel to the floor. Let's close the eyes here. And just notice how maybe your heart rate has increased and you can feel the vitality in your body. Just welcome that. And just a reminder, what we can expect from today. We can expect to bring the mind and body together. We're going to improve our posture. And we're going to unblock, energies flow, and create more vitality. And all of this in our embodiment practice is a gateway into such, life-changing practices or experiences as to change a state into a trait. But that's just the way you see life. It's the way your perspective now has been altered. And that is the way everyone will be different about it. what area, what part of their living and thinking experience of life habits, what part of that changes for them because of their commitment to such a practice as this, that will be individually felt and experienced. But I hope you're noticing it, that you bring your awareness to the benefits and blessings of this practice in that way. Let's open the eyes and lift up now. Palms will come together overhead. Exhale, bow to your heart. Inhale up, and we're going to move through the cow and the cat. I want you to bring your arms all the way down, right to the sides of your chair's frame, and pull back. Chest is forward. Keep your head in that neutral position. You know what? I can hold on to my chair back here, just as simple as anything. And I encourage you, if that's helpful to you, to hold it. So then you're pulling yourself away from the chair as you're holding on to it. So it just encourages, it gives you some leverage to really exaggerate the arch of the back body. So if that works, it's the kind of your chair serves in that same way, you could use it that way. So staying here in both the inhale and the exhale, pattern the body. Push your feet to the floor though. See the difference when you do that? You push your feet to the floor, it lifts you up. It lifts you up. It really brings the focus into a broader range. Now, here's something I've been practicing regularly. I want you to try it with me, stay with me. I'm going to show you from the side. You don't need to do anything different. When you're coming into cat now, let's make a practice of holding onto our kneecaps. See, my arms are straight. I've got my hands on my kneecaps. My body is just sort of neutrally upright. But then when we come into the cat, I want you to keep holding onto your kneecaps and pulling the center part of your back toward the back breast. So find that pull, feel like, okay, I got it. Now I'm holding on. No bend in the elbow if you can do it that way. So just to remind us, before we get into the whole vinyasa of it, you'll be pulling back, arching the back body in your cow position. And then you're going to immediately grab hold of your knees on your exhale and round through the back body into the C-shaped curve. Ready, set, go. Here we go. So inhale, cow, exhale, cat. Big breath in. You need the big breath, and exhale all the way out. So as I always say, it's always my reminder is this is your practice, and it means you're following your breath flow, not mine. So you're really practicing this in the speed, I guess, that suits your body and your fullness of breath. Holding on to your knees will help you keep your shoulders located right above your hips. I just watched too many people bringing themselves way forward of their hips when they're trying to do this roundness of the back, that I come up with this little strategy that will help us stay better aligned. Keep going. Let's really warm up. Let's loosen up that spine. And it's the pumping action that I'm very interested in. We talk about the flow of energy. This is distributing the energy that pools in the pelvis. We are now distributing it with this pumping action through the spine. So distributing it throughout the body. Last time. And come back up and let's start some shoulder rolls. So keep your arms alongside you and let the shoulder rolls up, back, and down. Now try individual movements of the shoulder. And once you get the hang of that, hands wherever they feel comfortable, I want you to turn your head. So as you roll your shoulder, you're turning to look in the direction of the shoulder roll. So let's just invite the neck into this. Invite the turn of the head, some movement through the neck. Keep squeezing your block. Keep pressing your feet to the floor. This is also done connected to the flow of your breath. So don't think you got to keep up with my pace or that somehow you lost your direction in that regard. Just feel it as a flow that's suitable to your breathing. And I would say, if you're just still looking for more direction, go easy on yourself. Take your time. When we change the direction, we're going to use the whole length of the arm. So we're going to use a swimming stroke. So take a whole length of your arm, continue the movement of your head to associate with that, but just moving your hand in this big stroking movement is a reversal of that shoulder roll. Turn your head to go with it. Pay attention to your breath. You might be breathing Ujjayi style breathing. That's that ha sound, that kind of whispery sound in your throat because you need a lot more energy from your breath. Encourage that Ujjayi breath. There's no reason to quiet it down. One more on each arm. And let's come back to center and get hold of the block and put it next to the chair on its high side. And then just see if you can rotate yourself so you pull in the top shoulder back and you can reach down and touch that block. I'm going to suggest you really press your feet to the floor because you might find that your legs start wandering around. We want to keep them in their hips distance apart, so be mindful about how you're holding your legs. Ear is pointing toward your hand on that block. Let's get the back hand to pull back a little bit so it really helps us with the shoulder. We're going to do something else with this when we're back on our feet again. And then lift up if that feels good to you. Now, here's the key. Lift up so that it feels like you're pulling yourself away from the block, lifting your hand and letting it carry you up. So now you're just touching the block. You're not leaning into the block, you're just touching it. So lift up, pull yourself up toward the ceiling. Breathe in, breathe out, push your feet to the floor. Now try pulling that hand back. Instead of just up, go back toward the backrest in that direction. And see more spaciousness in your chest. You just feel it differently. It's a little back bend that you've encouraged. All kinds of space around your lungs. Take advantage of that. Breathe into that newer, larger capacity around your lungs. Grab hold of your block now, lift it up, come on up. We're going to drop that block behind the head, so just keep your elbows drawing toward each other. This is a nice little reset. Catch up with your breath, no more bending. Elbows drawing toward each other. We're going to switch hands now, all the way down. Just place it, your best guess. You can always move it. Turn your head. That's important. So your ears are facing into the chair, or excuse me, into the block. And then we're going to take that other arm and wrap it around so it pulls our shoulder back. Now, be mindful of your legs. You got to be, pretend, imagine you've got a block between your thighs. Squeeze that imaginary block so that your inner thigh muscles, your adductor muscles are engaged. And what that's going to do, that's going to strengthen your core. So once you feel like you've got yourself patterned, you pull that shoulder back as much as it's going to go, lift up. And now we start really lifting our body up so we're barely touching the block. Lift up, lift up. Continue to touch the block. It's just kind of a nice touchstone. So we have framed this in a particular way. Deepen the breath into the belly. And then try pulling your hand back in the direction of the wall behind you. There, even more space. Full breath in, full breath out. Grab hold of your block, come on up. And then just use this again as a reset. Smooth out your breath again, just dropping that block behind you. No ducking. Don't duck your head. You'll just move the block. You can always make the adjustment with your block, so you're not going to duck your head. Keep your head, neck, and spine in alignment. Now, while you've got the block in hand, lift up. Let's take a wider stance. Heels in, toes out. I'm going to move my block to its narrow space and fold forward. So I still have my pelvis on the chair seat, but now I've extended the block and my arms to go with it as far away from the chair as I can and still maintain contact with the chair in my pelvis. Now tuck your head down in a way that feels comfortable for your neck. So in other words, manage the weight of your head here as you fold forward. Think of your armpit chest. So you're extending your arms for a reason, so we can get under those armpits, the latissimus dorsi, the lats. Let's loosen them up. We're going to wander that chair, excuse me, I keep saying that. Wander the block over toward the right side of you, toward your right foot. So there's a stretch to the side, a little bit of a twisting action, just a little. Keep your bottom on the chair. So even, even though you pulled yourself in one direction, can you kind of push into that side so that you're not listing away from the chair seat? Let's deepen the breath here. We'll take a skip to the center and then over to the other side. So stretch the other side, same deal. Manage the weight of your head. Keep your pelvis balanced left to right, right to left. One more full breath. Come back to center. Let's scoot the block underneath us. Get your hands on your thighs, elbows squeeze into your waist. Come up. We're going to move like that a few more pulsations, if you will, folding forward as close to your thighs as you can and pushing back up. Keep your elbows drawn in towards your waistline, folding forward and back. Your internal organs appreciate this kind of movement. This is very good for your organs of digestion. Come to a halfway lift, halfway somewhere in there. The back of the body is in a diagonal line. We're going to move into the toning now of the perineum. Press your hands into your thighs and inhale as you lift yourself away from the chair seat. Feels like your floor of your pelvis has come away from the chair. You hold it as long as you can, and then you settle back in. This is the practice we're very familiar with. I want you to keep at it. A big long inhale held as long as you can as you lift, lift, lift. And you relax as you exhale and settle. Keep going back for more. You're going to feel a lot of contact with your feet to the floor. Press them down. Feel those inner thighs. That is super good awareness there that you're kind of using your mind-body connection that yoga promises us to pull in through those inner seams. Think of it that way. It's that the seams of your legs, you're pulling in and up towards your perineum. Two more. Now stay here. You could continue to work it if that's your choice. Otherwise, just stay in the half lift. I'm going to turn a little bit to the side. You don't have to do anything different. We're in this half lift. Take your right arm and just extend it out in front of you, like you're shaking somebody's hand. So thumb up, it's a mitten hand. Now pull it away from you. Pull your arm away from you and let it carry your rib cage forward. Pelvis stays right where it is. And then come back up, just one arm at a time. I'm up to upright and into that fold. So see if you can keep your arm, parallel to the floor the whole time. It really hasn't changed its relationship to the floor. You're going to stay with that and just slide forward on that like you're on a track. Next time you come upright, let's switch hands. So we've got the other hand out just the same way, mitten hand, like you're shaking hands. Find that similar track to bring yourself forward and back up. Find a breath that works for you here. Feel how your body weight shifts into your thighs, and then you press your feet to bring you back. That's important. Otherwise, your low back will say, hey, I need some help here. So press your feet. Get your legs to help bring you back to an upright position. Forward. And from here, fold forward now. Surrender the weight of your head and look down and underneath the chair. Fold forward. Big belly breaths. If you can touch the floor, great. If you can bring your palms to the floor, awesome. You're seeing how deeply you can fold. I like to get my arms inside of my legs, and I feel that I'm squeezing my legs into my shoulders, into my upper arms. I like that little interaction. And you know why? Because it brings me into the awareness of those inner thigh muscles, that inseam I've been talking about. Those adductor muscles now are active when you give it a little squeeze. One more full breath, folding however you choose. One hand at a time to your thighs. Keep squeezing your elbows in towards your waist. Let's come up nice and easy, all the way up. Inhale with me, lift up, palms face forward. Look up if you can, and exhale down. So how you're moving your head, up to you. You can choose not to move your head at all, or you might say, it feels pretty good to me to lift up my chest, and then I can lift up my head. But remember, it goes in that direction. Lift up my chest to lift up my head. Last time, lifting up. When we bring down, we're going to land our hands on our shoulders, and let's just take a little spin. Create circles with your elbows, and then change the direction of that. I always get really encouraged when that is so loose and good and feels so freely, movement is so freely offered. Then crisscross, elbow to the outside of your thigh as much as you can. Go as far to the outside of your thigh as you're able to. You can always adjust how you've got your legs placed so you can access this. The up and down movement, the fold forward and pulling yourself up, that's the strengthening. That's what's developing the strength. So don't take a shortcut here. You've got to fold down and bring yourself up. If you want a little more challenge, I encourage challenge, that you stay on one side and do it twice and then come up. Do it twice on that side. Use your feet, use the strength of your legs. Keep pushing your feet to the floor to bring you up, especially on that upward movement. You got to get yourself a little boost. One more on each side. Good core strengthening. And when we add this little twist to it, it includes the abdominal wall on the sides as well. So let's just notice that it's the side, the oblique muscles, as well as the front belly wall. So let's just find our reset, whatever movement or stretching or breathing your body needs now to just catch up. And I want to get into the hip a little bit. So let's bring our feet maybe a little bit closer together and get a hold of your leg by way of your shin. We'll start spinning the foot around. You're bringing your thigh in towards your belly, in towards your chest, in towards your armpit. You get the idea. Be sure to change the direction quite a bit with the movement of the foot. And then we're going to get underneath that, underneath your knee, underneath your thigh, to just straighten it out and bend it. This could be done right in front of you, off to the side, doesn't matter to me. So you're going to just bend and straighten in the way that you access it best. Pull it way in, stretch it way out. Pull it way in, stretch it way out. Your foot stays flexed the whole time. And the reason that matters is because of the musculature. You're turning on, you're using all the muscles of the legs by simply flexing your foot. Pull it way in, stretch it way out. Now, bent knee, we hold it at the bent knee. Get a hold of your shin so you can rotate it from center to external. See if now you can not only just draw a line that goes back and forth, but you can make it feel kind of circular in nature. So lifting up and draw a circle with that leg. And what are you going to do with your other arm? You might hold the chair. You decide what gives you the stability. I just right away felt myself moving around in the chair. So I'm going to hold on to that chair so I can feel, let's change the direction of that circular movement. Okay, new direction here. Hold your leg any way you want to. We just try to sometimes avoid holding onto the kneecap. Sometimes that can be problematic for people. And bring both feet to the floor. Take a little pause here. Catch up with your breath. We're going to switch to the other side now. So start by lifting up, drawing that thigh in towards your chest. We're going to start circling the foot. We want to loosen up the joints of the ankles and the feet, toes, and hugging the knee into the chest is good for the colon, and to give it a little massage action in there. Slip your hands under your knee, under the thigh, and go to the straight leg and very bent knee, pulling in, flexed foot. Straight out in front of you or off to the side. Your standing leg, all of a sudden, right? I've just become aware. What about that other leg? Make sure you're planting your foot. Otherwise, your leg might just drift off. You want that to be actively holding the ground. We'll meet with a bent knee, and we're going to guide that leg off center. I'm going to hold on to the chair here. So once you feel your range, you kind of have explored your range, then we're going to create that circular movement. Use the whole strength of your leg. Use every muscle you got to make these circles. Keep yourself as upright as you can. There's a real tendency to just cave in the upper body. So keep yourself upright as best you can as you draw circles with your bent knee. Let's change the direction of the circle. Excellent. And come back now with a wide stance. Heels in, toes pointing out. Catch up with your breath, sit up real tall, pull in. Let's create the goddess position with bent elbows, hands are spread open wide. Inhale is here, exhale is bringing everything together. So inhale here, open, and close it. So if you've scooted too far back into your chair, you might need to get to the front edge of it a little bit better so you can move your legs. Inhale, open, exhale, close. Try blowing the exhale out of your mouth like you're blowing out a candle. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Couple more, just to get that pattern of breathing. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Last time. Bring everything together, hold it, and then lift up. Maybe you interlace your hands to make sure your hands will stay together. Lift up. Not everybody can bring your elbows together, so you just do the best you can. Palms, I'll bet you can definitely bring your palms together. We're going to lift up, let our head tilt back. Elbows together if you can. And now bring yourself rounding the back body. You're going to bring those elbows right into your belly button, rounding into the seed pose. Can you feel that seed? We inhale up, it's like we're sprouting the seed, letting it come up. Back bend, round the back body, a counter pose, pulling your elbows in towards your belly button. Last time, up and rounding. I come back to a neutral position, including a little space between your legs. Now, any movement your body might need, this is a good time to reset the body. Let's do a simple twist. Inhale with me, lift up. Exhale, turn towards your right. Use the chair, use your body parts. And if you feel like you do better at these twists by bringing your legs together, so you create a firm foundation like that, bring your legs together. The idea is revolving around your spine. So your rib cage is revolving to turn in this direction. No tension in your mouth, that's never going to help. Keep your spine vertical, no leaning. So do your best. I'm not saying I do it perfect, but you're just trying to be aware of that. Feels vertical to you. Unwind your head first and then your shoulders and your arms. Make sure you're caught up with your breathing. Inhale is here. Exhale is twisting to the other side. brand new. You got to approach it like a beginner's mind, just because you just did the twist, it's a new side. So feel your way into it. Stay connected. Mind and body stay connected. Sometimes we take a little vacation. Our mind says, what was I going to do later on today? Because, I just did this twist. So keep yourself here and now. Softness in the face. Let's unwind the head first, and then the shoulders and the arms, and we'll come back to a neutral position. I want to rock and roll ourselves out of the chair. So lift your feet up and bring yourself off the chair. Lift your feet up off the chair. Third time, we're going to lift and hold. I'm going to show you what I'm doing. We're going to be here. You're just hovering your bottom off that chair. Lift your chest so you can lift your head. Feel the cow pose now. I want you to start arching your back body. I'll bet you could really do that in your lumbar. See how your low back gets a chance to really lift up. That's the sassy experience I try to find for us. That's that lumbar curve. Now round your back body into the C-shaped curve. One more time, into your cow and your cat, moving through the spine. Now rounding the back body, straighten out your legs, bring yourself upright to a mountain pose, vertebrae by vertebrae, upright. Again, let's close our eyes here in our upright position, feeling the strength of our body, strength of our legs, soft bend of the knee. Feel your breath in a full body experience now. And it's like you get to check in and say, yes, I do feel that vitality. I do get it. I do feel like I'm loosening up in areas that I've been holding tension. Just noticing what this experience is for you or not. I guess I can't plant information that's not true, or not that you're thinking, boy, I'm really struggling here. It's not, I can't, I'm just holding. I feel like I'm just holding back. So you just get to know yourself in a loving and compassionate way. All right, let's open the eyes. I'm going to suggest you get your block onto your chair. I'm resituating myself just a bit, a little off center. And we're going to start by getting our foot on the chair. So as you're standing near the chair, the leg that's near the chair, that's what's going to go right up there. And your toes pointing that way, away from, and your other foot, you're going to point the toes forward. So I'm going to use my arms to illustrate how my feet are placed. It looks like that. We're going to bring our elbow not on the thigh, but inside the thigh. So elbows on the inside there. And so what I want you to do is let your leg push into your elbow, and your elbow pushes right back. So there's dynamic tension between your arm and your leg. Can you feel that? And we're going to get that other arm to come back and around. So it pulls that shoulder back. Of course, we know how to line up the head. The ears, kind of real important about how we're holding our head and where the ear is facing. But get that dynamic tension going where you're letting your leg is very active. It's not just sitting up there. It's having a little tug of war with your arm. Let's find the breath. Here's where you might need the block. I'm going to keep that up, pressing my elbow in, but I want to extend my fingers down to the chair seat. Now, if it feels better to you to have a block to come to that you can't reach it quite down there, quite like that, then that's where the block might come in handy. So we're dropping that shoulder to get our hand to come onto the chair as much as possible. Yet there's still this tug of war going on. Arm pressing into leg, leg pressing right back. Now we're going to get that back arm into action and bring it right past our ear. So our hand is overhead, not reaching the ceiling, but overhead. Pull that arm back and find some expansion in your rib cage. Breathe in, breathe out. Your breath is really informing you here. How much can you do? How far can you go? Finish each and every breath cycle. Sweep that upper arm off and come back upright. Now take your time here. We're going to just simply step that foot to the floor, but the foot is still pointing in the same direction. Take a wider stance. So now you've got the same position of your feet that you had before, but both legs are straight. We're going to move into triangle pose. Get your right arm up. I don't know which arm it is for you, but the arm that's right, the same leg that's by the chair. And we're going to keep it real close to the head and bend into that. Feel the bend. Straight leg, head is laying on that arm. So you're bringing yourself as low as you can. And then the hand is going to come to the chair seat. Start by pulling that arm back behind you so your shoulders pull back. Legs are both straight. If you're finding that's not working for me, remember you could always shorten your stance. That's a way to solve that. Or offer a slight bend of the knee. Arm raises up. Let's put a mitten hand on here so our hands feel purposeful. You can turn to look toward the upper hand if you've got the flexibility with your head and neck, or you could look at the hand on the chair or somewhere in between. Find your breath cycle now. So you settle into your breathing now. Settle in to the breathing. You can always move your head. It doesn't have to be held in one place. Soften that knee, that bent knee now. Let's bend that knee that's close to the chair. Soften it now. And then it'll help you lift up nice and easy. Beautiful. Let's try that on the other side. So we're going to get our foot onto the chair. Toes are pointing away. And the distance between your feet is kind of up to you. I'm bringing it in kind of tight. To me, it's kind of tight. I keep it nice and close to the chair. Let's bring our elbow down into the inner thigh and then press into it. Let your find that little tug of war now. Your leg is pushing into your arm is pushing back. You're going to bring that top arm way behind you so it pulls the shoulder back. You're lining up your head, ears facing where your knee is, maybe. Find your rhythm of breathing. We're going to go lower now. This is where we might use the block. Hand is going to come to we're going to drop that shoulder down closer toward our leg so our hand can reach the chair seat. Maybe it's just your fingers. Maybe you choose the block. Just get your hand down there so it drops you in a little bit more. And now we're going to let that upper arm come into a little more activity here, a little more expression as we let that arm slide past our ear, not past your face as much as you can. Get it to come past your ear. Mitten hand, very intentional about the way you're holding your hand. And then you get the opportunity to pull back a little bit as your body allows. Creating more space in the rib cage. This latissimus dorsi, that's right in here. Sometimes I refer to that area as the armpit chest. Excellent. Use a sweeping action to come up all the way around. Maybe you need a little reset. Hold on to your chair anytime, obviously, anytime you need. We're setting up for triangle now. Feet take a similar position with your feet. But no longer do we have a bent knee. We've got two straight legs. I didn't mention this the first go around. I wish I would have. There's a relationship here. Your feet are lined up, so you don't want one way ahead of the other. There's a relationship between your feet. Let's take that arm that's real close to the chair. Take it right up alongside your head. Let yourself fold, lean right into that arm. So your head is well positioned and well supported. And there's a lengthening through your side body. Hand comes to the chair. The other arm reaches up. Be intentional about the way you hold your hands. Both legs straight, or you soften the knee if that inner thigh is giving you trouble. Might be tight. Open it up. Maybe to bring that arm back a little bit. Excellent. Bend the knee. Let's come out of it nice and easy with that bent knee. Awesome. Now, we can use the chair just like it is. If you want to turn it around for yourself, if that's your choice, you can. We're going to just use the chair seat for downward dog. So I'm leaving it as it is. Palms come to the chair seat. Let's step back. Make sure your feet are straight. Take your time setting it up. And if I'm rushing you, if this is you weren't ready, I just want to know you got my blessing that you're taking your time, getting into it when you're ready for it. Same distance you have between your hands, that's what I want between your feet. Keep pulling back through the buttocks. Remember that sassy action of your low back, the lumbar curve? Can you find that? Can you give yourself a little lumbar curve? A little more emphasis on that? Because we all have a natural curve in the lumbar spine, but this is a way of exaggerating it. Just for now, to stretch the buttocks. No strain in your neck. Pay attention to how that's doing. There should be no strain in the neck. One more breath. Good job, everybody. That was a good long hold. Start walking toward the chair. Into your tabletop position. So you got your shoulders right above your wrists. Your body's in a tabletop. Doesn't matter which leg. Start with bending the knee and straightening it out. So as you bend your knee, maybe you bring your face down to meet that knee. And then you extend out through your spine as well as your leg. There's a rhythm here. Inhale, rounding, exhale, extending, or the other way around. Either one works. Let's get both feet to the floor. Take a little squat. So you're going to bend the knees and let your hips come down and stretch the buttocks. Distance between your feet up to you. Square them away. Let's do the other side. We're still in our tabletop. We're going to bring our bent knee up toward our face, rounding the back body. Extend everything. Straight legs, straight spine. That's what it feels like. Can you feel how this offers you some good toning of your low belly? So it's abdominal work too. Last one. This time when we get our both feet to the floor, let's find our Barbie shoes, our Barbie feet, I should say. So you're going to move into your feet, walking the dog. And your hands can be anywhere. You don't need to be holding onto that chair seat. You might bring yourself a little higher up. Just walking through it so you feel that stretch in the feet and the heels and the toes. Beautiful. Let's come back now. Find your mountain pose in front of your chair or wherever you like to be in mountain pose. Soft bend of the knee. Lift your toes up. See if you can spread them apart a little bit, even a little. That mind-body connection is tricky. How can you talk to your toes? It is tricky. Spread them apart. Arms are alongside the body. We just let those feet settle now. Palms are open. Let's find our closed eyes so we can have a moment now before we transition into our relaxation, our final meditation time. Feel the vitality in your body while you're upright and strong. You're using and feeling the strength of your body, the strength of your legs, the strength of your back. I want you to breathe in a way that gives homage to that strength and confidence. How well you've managed the weight of your head, how protected you've kept your neck. One more full breath like that. Let's flutter the eyes open. Inhale with me, palms come together, look up. Exhale, let's take a bow at the heart. Inhale up and exhale, it's like our backstroke all the way down. Good, let's come to the chair now. Find your position that you use traditionally for Shavasana. So this is where we get our comfy stuff, we get our support. Maybe you need to move to a different chair, however it is you do that. Settle in though, be sure to use the support. Don't hold your up there. Yeah. The reading I'm going to read today is like it reminds us of how we've given ourselves certain rules over time about how we are supposed to be, So let's just find comfort. Let comfort help us decide where to be. Stay hydrated. So if you've got water nearby, this might be a real good time to get a drink. We start to soften now. We've been holding ourselves in a way of strength and uprightness. And now we're settling into softness, letting the chair hold us. So every bit of effort that's involved with keeping us up, seated in an upright position, we're going to let the chair do it so we can relax. Now, if you've noticed in your practice and especially in your posture, that you're no longer comfortable letting go of the postural support that your body now claims, I guess I want to honor that too, that you hold yourself in a way that now is natural for you. And maybe it's a little different from what I've just described. Now, the breath practice I'm going to encourage is very meditative in that it is, there's the point to point reference for breath and meditation that is used in the Vishoka meditation tradition. I'm sure it's used in various meditation traditions, but that's the one I know about. And so it's bringing your breath from a point of your body to another point. But let's use space as those point to point references rather than, like the chest bone or, the center of the forehead. Let's do this. That your point to point reference is number one, the space in front of your face, the space. So just close your eyes now and just imagine the space in front of your face. And imagine too the space between your eyes within your head. So deep within your head, there's space. Let's say behind your eyes. Maybe that's a better way to reference it. The space behind your eyes is one reference. And the other reference is the space in front of your face. So once you feel that you've kind of become aware of by your imagination those spatial references, connect your inhale and your exhale between those two spaces. So it's like your breath is just centered right there around your face and head. Give yourself a full inhale and a full exhale. The space can hold it. Give yourself fully to the awareness of the space to space breath. This time of stillness is critical. It's so important to our practice, not to be skipped. Breathe all the way into the space, all the way out into that space. This poem is untitled. It's from Danna Faulds. A life of truth walks the edge between ease and effort. There's nothing you must do to win approval. No list of saintly acts to tick off one by one. No required deprivations. Say yes to life, and you are blessed with countless opportunities to choose wholeness over fragmentation. You need but knock for doors to open wide. Ask, and you are filled with a presence so vast that all the words in your personal lexicon amount to nothing in its silence. Stop seeking long enough to receive the spirit that's within you now. Just be your truest self, and the voice you've longed to hear will speak through you. Release your grip on limitation, and possibilities roll out like endless ocean waves. All you have to do is kick off your shoes and run barefoot in the sand. Let's take that deep breath in through the nose. And when it exhales out, there's a sigh attached with that. A long sigh. Let's do another one just like it. Big breath in through the nose. Sigh it out. Come forward on your chair. No longer leaning into the backrest. Find an upright position. Feels like right alignment in your upper body. Let's bring our palms together, rub briskly, interlace the fingers. First, stretch your palms away from your heart and lift up. Take a little side to side bend. Find your breath. And from here, palms come together. Inhale here. Exhale, bow at your heart space. Inhale up. Exhale, let's share this loving energy with our communities. Palms again come to the prayer position. We bow to ourselves and we bow to one another. Namaste, my friends. And thank you for joining me.